German Autumn. The German Autumn German Deutscher Herbst was a series of events in Germany in late 1977 associated with the kidnapping and murder of industrialist, businessman, and former SS member Hanns Martin Schleyer, president of the Confederation of German Employers Associations (BDA) and the Federation of German Industries (BDI), by the Red Army faction RAF. They demanded the release of 10 RAF members detained at the Stammheim Prison plus 2 Palestinian compatriots held in Turkey, and US $15 million in exchange for the hostages. The assassination of Siegfried Buback, the Attorney General of West Germany, on 7 April 1977, and the failed kidnapping and murder of the banker Jürgen Ponto on 30 July 1977 marked the beginning of the German Autumn. It ended on 18 October with the liberation of the Landshut, the death of the leading figures of the first generation of the RAF in their prison cells, and the death of Schleyer. The phrase German Autumn is derived from the 1978 film Deutschland im Herbst, Germany in Autumn, a German omnibus film whose segments covered the social atmosphere during late 1977, while offering different critical perspectives and arguments pertaining to the situation. The directors involved were Heinrich Ball, Hans-Peter Kluge, Rainer Werner Fassbinder, Alexander Kluge, Maximilian Menke, Edgar Reitz, Katja Rupp, Volker Schlondorf, Peter Schubert, and Bernhard Sinkel. Kluge and Beat Menke Gellinghaus edited the film. Events: Murder of Siegfried Buback. On 7 April 1977, Siegfried Buback, the Attorney General of West Germany, was shot and killed alongside his driver Wolfgang Goebel and a passenger, Judicial Officer Georg Wurster, in an ambush whilst traveling from his home in Neurut to the Bundesgerichtshof in Karlsruhe. 4 RAF members, Christian Klar, Knut Folkerts, Gunther Sonnenberg, and Brigitte Mohnhaupt, were formally charged and prosecuted in connection with the Buback murder. In 2007, former RAF members Peter Jürgen Buch and Verena Becker claimed that another former RAF member, Stefan Wisniewski, had fired the gun that killed Buback. Kidnapping and murder of Jürgen Ponto. On 30 July 1977, Jürgen Ponto, the head of Dresdner Bank, was shot and killed in his house in Oberbrüssel in a kidnapping that went wrong. Those involved were Brigitte Mohnhaupt, Christian Klar, and Susan Albrecht, the last being the sister of Ponto's goddaughter. Kidnapping and murder of Hanns Martin Schleyer. On 5 September 1977, an RAF commando unit attacked the chauffeured car carrying Hanns Martin Schleyer, then president of the German Employers Association, in Cologne. His driver, Hanns Martin, 41, was forced to brake when a baby carriage suddenly appeared in the street in front of them. The police escort vehicle behind them was unable to stop in time and crashed into Schleyer's car. 4 or possibly 5 masked RAF members sprayed machine gun and machine pistol bullets into the 2 vehicles, killing Marcis and a police officer, Roland Peeler, 20, who was seated in the backseat of Marcis's car. The driver of the police escort vehicle, Reinhold Brandl, 41, and a third police officer, Helmut Ulmer, 24, who was in the second vehicle, were also killed. The hail of bullets riddled over 20 bullet wounds into the bodies of Brandl and Peeler. Schleyer was abducted and held prisoner in a rented apartment in an anonymous residential neighborhood near Cologne. He was forced to appeal to the center-left West German government under Helmut Schmidt for the first generation of RAF members then imprisoned to be exchanged for him. Police investigations to locate Schleyer proved unsuccessful. On 18 October 1977, 3 of the imprisoned RAF members were found dead in their cells. In response, Schleyer was taken from Brussels and shot dead en route to Mulhouse, France, where his body was left in the trunk of a green Audi 100 on the Rue Charles Peguy. After the kidnappers phoned the location of the Audi to the Deutsche Presseagentur office in Stuttgart, Schleyer's body was recovered on 19 October. Landshut hijacking. When it became clear that the government was unwilling to entertain a further prisoner exchange given the experience of the kidnapping of Peter Lawrence 2 years earlier, the RAF tried to exert additional pressure by hijacking the Lufthansa aeroplane Landshut on October 13, 1977, with the help of the Allied Palestinian group PFLP. After a long odyssey through the Arabian Peninsula and the execution-type killing of Captain Jürgen Schumann, the hijackers and their hostages landed in Mogadishu, the capital of Somalia. After political negotiations with the Somali leader Syed Barre, the West German government was granted permission to assault the plane Lufthansa 181. This was carried out on 18 October by the Special Task Force GSG-9, which had been formed after the 1972 Munich Olympics hostage crisis. Only one GSG-9 member and one flight attendant were injured. Of the hijackers, only Sauhela and Draws survived. On the same night, 3 of the imprisoned RAF members, Gudrun Ensslin, Jan Karl Rasp, and Andreas Bader, were found dead in their cells. The official investigation into the deaths of the imprisoned RAF members concluded that they had committed suicide, Bader and Rasp using handguns allegedly smuggled into the Stammheim maximum security prison by their lawyer Arndt Muller, Ensslin by hanging herself. Irmgard Mahler, who was imprisoned with them, survived with 4 knife wounds in her chest. She later claimed that the suicides were actually extrajudicial killings. On 12 November 1977, Ingrid Schubert was found hanged in her cell. Reactions. Political divides. Germany's political parties also came into fierce clashes during the German autumn. The CDU/CSU suspected that the ruling social liberal SPD-FDP coalition under Helmut Schmidt SPD were ideologically close to the terrorists. The coalition, in turn, accused the opposition of hysteric overreactions and seizing the opportunity to transform the Federal Republic a little way into a police state. Policy agreements. The Schmidt administration convened the Grosser Kreisstab Great Crisis Committee, an informal council formed at the beginning of the Schleyer kidnapping, which involved members of all parties in the Bundestag and several minister-presidents of German states. Historian Wolfgang Kroscher likened its 45-day rule to an undeclared state of emergency. One result of the cross-party collaboration was the Kontaktsperre, a law which mandated that RAF prisoners could have no access to newspapers, TV, or radio, and could not be visited by family or lawyers.